Hi everyone, how's it going? Today I'm going to be going over my automatic audio converter that I created. This audio converter automatically takes any album in a folder and converts it into the Opus audio format. If you're not familiar with Opus, it's similar to MP3, but gives you much higher audio quality or an even smaller file size. You can use this for many different types of applications for your audio, like if you purchase albums from Bandcamp, or you have old CDs that you ripped, or new CDs. And for me, I use it for music from SoulSeek. It's my main application for it. So my software automatically archives the lossless copy of your music for you, and then creates the compressed copy in a separate folder. And it also organizes all this for you. Let me pull up an example here. So here is my lossless library. It should be in here. Most of my stuff's in here. As you can see, it organizes everything by artist first and then album after that. And here is my compressed library here. This is the folder here. Opus. And again, it's the same thing, organized all for you. You don't have to do any of that, it just does it for you. I'm gonna show you today how to set up my software on your system, so you can use this for yourself. And then afterwards, I'm gonna demonstrate both the way that I use this to keep a local music library stored directly on my phone, and I'm also gonna go over one final aspect of the software, which is the old file converter, which I will go over at the very end. Okay, so let's get started. So first off, you're going to need a Windows system for this to work. For all of you Linux or Mac OS users out there, I apologize, but Windows is what I use day to day, and I haven't quite switched to Linux yet. But if there's a lot of demand, I'd be happy to build a version. Again, it's also on my GitHub. If you want to take a crack at it yourself, you are more than welcome to. You're going to need some other software as well to make this work. You're going to need the latest version of Python, the latest version of FFmpeg, and the latest version of a repo called Tag Editor. Here's the Tag Editor right here. This is the software you'll need, so you'll need this as well. So you need all three of those, plus the Windows system. For FFmpeg and the Tag Editor, you're going to have to set them as path variables. If you're not familiar with that, you can look that up. I can show you real quick, just to run through. Go to Edit System Variables, Environment Variables, and here in System Variables, you come to Path and you edit. So if you look right here, here's the location of my tag editor. Here's the location of Python. Here is FFmpeg. It's going to be a little different depending on your system, right, and where you save those. But you can look up a tutorial for doing that. There's a lot on the internet. But you're going to need those. You're going to need to do that for this to work. And finally, you're going to need a library called mutagen. Mutagen is not in the base Python install. So all you have to do is go to your terminal, whether it be PowerShell or command prompt. It doesn't care. Wow, that was a loud voice crack, sorry. It doesn't care. I like to use terminal nowadays. Kind of nice. So you're going to do that. And after that's all done, then you can download my library in its entirety as a zip, extract it, and you can put it wherever you want, to be honest, but you're going to need to remember where it is. So I keep mine, because I programmed it, I keep it in my programming folder. But you can put it in your documents folder or somewhere accessible that you'll remember. I wouldn't put it on your desktop because it might get deleted. After that's all done, you're going to have to configure the program a little bit. I don't have a GUI for this yet. I don't exactly plan to unless there's a lot of demand. So you're going to have to go into the program and set the location of certain folders. So there's going to be a specific folder structure you have to follow. Okay, I'm going to throw a graphic up on screen right now. So you're going to have one folder, which I set as my music folder. I recommend you set as that as well. And then within your music folder, you're going to need 4 subfolders. You're going to need one for your unprocessed albums, one for as a temporary folder so that the program can convert the files somewhere. You're going to need your archive folder, and finally you're going to need the compressed folder. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you my structure right now. So here's my music folder here. I have a lot of stuff here, so I apologize for the mess, but here is my temporary folder, conversion temp folder. Here is my unprocessed folder. It's called SyncThing folder. I'm going to explain that later, but you can just call it your unprocessed folder or whatever you want. I showed you before, but my library is in here, and my compressed library is here. And so you're going to have to change some variables in the actual main.py file. If you're not familiar with editing Python files, you can get away with just using, what's it called? Notepad, yeah. Using Notepad. You can just open a Notepad for something simple like this, you know. You don't have to go crazy here. Let me just show that real quick since everyone has Notepad, right? So you can see here I have my main path. Sorry, these are not actually the right ones. These here, and actually I'm going to talk about these later too. So these 6 are what you're going to focus on. Okay, so here is the location of my music folder, and then here's the location of like my uncompressed, my compressed, my processed, my unprocessed, sorry, and the temporary folder. Okay, and here, you know, if you notice, there's like some backslashes and some subfolders here. You know, if you come look at my music folder, I didn't exactly like put them directly inside here. I kind of put them in here and then in here, but you definitely do not have to do that. Okay, you can just do something like this, right? You can just have a folder called, you know, archive, right? And then you just have the matching folder right here, archive, just like that. That's really all you need for this to work, okay? Keep it a little simpler than me. Don't complicate things. Finally, there's these JSON and log paths, right? Remember how I said you need to remember where you store my my folder of my repo. This is why. So by default, you know, I like to keep my the log file and the data file in the same folder. So I would just recommend you just set the directory like that, and then keep the text, keep the file name at the end, just like this, but just change the directory part, like right here. And I would recommend just doing that. Keep things simple. They don't have to be there, but I think it's just easier that way and more straightforward. Okay, so finally, there's one optional step. I like to do this personally because it lets my file run automatically when my computer starts, which is great. You know, like I don't really have to think about it. It just does it for me, right? So you can either type run into the search or press Windows key plus R at the same time. I'm going to do that. I like that. And then you're going to put this in shell startup, okay? This is actually not supposed to be here. Here is a copy of my batch file. If you have never made a batch file, I would just recommend you look up a video on how to do that. Yeah. Here's mine. These parts here are going to remain the same no matter what your system's like, but you're going to have to change this part to the location of where your Python exe is. It might be different for you. And you're also going to have to set the location of main.py file. And that's it, really. And then it'll run automatically. Okay, so that's all with the actual setup of the software. Once you've done all that, you can either just run it or restart your computer, and it will just work. Actually, if I go to Task Manager now, I imagine that I'll see it running in the background, or at least I hope I will. Yeah, here it is right there, Python. So that's it right there running. That wasn't even scripted or anything. It's just, that's good. That's good. You know it works, right? Okay, so that's it for the main part of this tutorial. I'm actually going to segue now into the way in which I use software day to day. All right, so I'm here in PowerAmp. This is the music player I use on my cell phone. And I have SyncThing open up on here on my PC. So SyncThing is a piece of software that lets you sync files back and forth between devices. You don't need cloud storage. It's all encrypted. The software is free. It's really great, honestly. I mean, it's fabulous. I use it to transfer notes back and forth between my phone and my PC. And I figured for something like this, it would work great. And it does. It's fantastic. So let me pull it up on my phone real quick as well, SyncThing. So as you can see, I'm syncing two different folders here. I'm syncing my compressed library, which is the Opus library, and I'm also doing the sync folder. That's because I like to download music from my phone, okay? Have it synced to the computer, and the computer processes it for me, and then sends the compressed music back to my phone. It's great because I can have the music that I want to listen to right away. I just have to download it on my phone. And then as soon as the compression is done, I get that copy. There's no like fuss, nothing like that. It's really, really satisfying to kind of see in the music player, you know, because it shows like the type of file format you have for your music. It's so satisfying to just have it work and just switch without you even having to think about it. It just does it for you. And it's like, it's great, man. I love it so much. So like this saves quite a lot of storage. You know, like I don't like to use a lot of data for streaming music or anything like that. So as you can see, the audio still takes up like quite a bit of space. I won't lie. Like, you know, 52 gigabytes is not, it's not tiny by any means, right? But, you know, if we go over, let's just directly compare. I already know the number, but we go over here to, just out of curiosity, what's the uncompressed file size? I think it's over 200 gigabytes. 200 gigabytes. I mean, it's a huge difference. Like almost a quarter the size. And honestly, day to day, you really don't notice the difference that much from my experience. Like, it sounds great. Like the music sounds excellent. It's all organized. It's awesome. It's really freeing to have your own music that you have the actual files for. You don't have to worry about other services or anything like that. Like they're just yours, man. You don't have to worry about outages or nothing like that. So it's excellent. All right, so the last piece here that I would just want to touch on is this other file here called Old File Converter that I created. This is really functionally almost identical to the main file, but it's really intended for if you have an existing uncompressed archive that you want to just convert everything to Opus and just stick it in another folder. This is for you, man. So like I had a lot of old stuff that was just sitting on my drive, and I wanted to just be able to convert it all in one go. And so, you know, you have to have everything organized like this for it to work properly, right? But it works great. And this actually really helped to improve the main program. I kind of developed these in tandem with one another because it gave me a lot of music to test on, a lot of albums to test on. So it really improved the main program to the point where it's really rare for any errors to happen or anything like that. You know, I've tested on a lot of different stuff now. So, but that's it really for the video. If you have any questions or comments, just leave it down below. Or if you're stuck with anything, I'd be happy to help. Can leave a comment or check out my GitHub. You know, that's it for today. I hope you enjoy. I hope you get to use it and enjoy it. Thanks so much.